What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven here with your afternoon snap, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new developer update video for the August 2025 season, Heralds of Galactus. I'm doing a giveaway for PAX bundles. Stick around till the end of the video to find out how you can win. This is going to be basically a live reaction to all of these cards, seeing them for the first time, though I have seen Galactus specifically before, but all of the other ones here is going to be my first time taking a look, so let's go.
Y'all talking crap, I'm playing marvelous now, taking cues from news. I devour these fools, eat them like a snack. So get up off me and get back up on the whack bus, cause you ain't ready for Heralds of Galactus.
Okay, it's no Journey to Ungoro, but
eats planets like pineapple on pizza. His hunger cannot be suppressed. It's the big dog, Galactus' first steps. The next.
okay. So Galactus First Steps is our season pass card, and it says it's a 6/12, so it's got Hulk stats, and it only gets bigger from there. And sometimes just a big card is good. Interestingly, when's the last big card that we've seen? So I think the most recent just big card, and that's all it's done, that's been good, is Gore. And then prior to that, we've had Red Hulk and Blob. Typically, these cards are pretty underrated. And Herald of Galactus, let's see what it does here. So it says, my Herald is the next character I see you play, which means as soon as Galactus enters your hand, then it's going to look at the next card that you play, and then that card will be designated as the Herald, and that location will be the Herald's location. End of turn, +2 power if you are winning my Herald's location, and that's going to trigger if Galactus is in hand or in play. So if we get Galactus in the opening hand, it has the chance to trigger 6 times, potentially 7 with a Limbo or some Invisible Woman shenanigans. 6 times could mean that this is a 6/24. That's pretty big numbers. It does ask something of you, and I brought up the recent 6-cost bombs that we've seen as an example because as far as I know, those cards have really appeared mostly. Okay, sometimes bombs appear in other weird ways to cheat them out. So that's definitely something I'm thinking, like Infinite Giganto. Those could certainly, this could be a card that fills in a space like that, right? So think about those cards. And then the other option is cards like Red Hulk and Gore. And the issue with both of those two categories of cards, the Red Hulk and Gore, I mostly see in clog decks, which are not decks that are typically winning locations sometimes until the very last turn of the game. Because the whole goal is your opponent's just clogged out, you're tossing priority, you're cannonballing on the final turn, you are not trying to win locations. So Galactus, not quite an easy fit into those decks. And then similarly, ramp decks are not decks that typically battle for locations on those early turns either. I think that a standout could be the Blink Hella decks that sometimes play Iron Patriot, and you go Iron Patriot into Corvus, but these are sort of interesting scenarios. I will say, here's an interesting thing. Assuming you get a cheap, well, you can make whatever card you want the Herald. So you can basically, whether that is, what's it called? Storm Brand? The 3/10 that gives +3 power to the other locations. You can just make Stormbrand your Herald, and then you are winning that location. You're probably going to very easily get +2 power on Galactus, because the turn that you play something, you're going to be winning that location when you play something. And that could also be true of a Jubilee cheating out a Galactus Fantastic First Steps. That would potentially work out for you. And even just playing something like an Iron Patriot is pretty cool because you'll probably win that location that turn, on turn 2, when you play the Iron Patriot, because you can just play it into like a naked lane, or you could play it into a location where like your opponent already has like a Zabu or something. And there's a lot of ways to make sure that you're getting that +2 power on that turn. And then because it's Iron Patriot, you have an incentive to continue to win that location, at least for like the next turn. And this does add some interesting developments as far as like Sanctum Showdown is concerned, where do you want to battle for, like, if you battle for a location on turn 2 by playing your Iron Patriot there, and then you battle for it on turn 3, and then you battle for it on turn 4, then on turn 5, you got to think, okay, well, if I battle for this location again, then I'm locked out of the game on that. I'll have 4 slots filled up in that location. So that does create some really interesting dynamics, but a curve of Iron Patriot into Stormbrand then allows you to play your Iron Patriot card into that location. And a lot of these things do seem very good. And then the whole idea, I think, is basically just like, I mean, maybe even throw an Iron Man at that location, make sure you've locked it up, and then if the Herald is just fully locking down a location, then Galactus could come down for 22 points in one of the other 2 locations to swing it on the final turn, and that might just be enough. And with that exact loadout, if you play to a location on 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then your other 2 locations are totally blank, your opponent probably has priority. And with the cards that I just named, okay, maybe not Stormbrand, but maybe like a Gladiator, something like that could set you up for a scenario where you can't really get Shang-Chi'd. You might be able to get like Enchantress on the Iron Man, but you could be able to play around a variety of tech in a way that seems reasonably powerful. So I honestly, I mean, I don't think that they're going to want this card to be bad, right? This is a new era of Galactus in Marvel Snap, and despite it just being a card that's going to cost all of your energy on the final turn and just be a bunch of points, I think that this card definitely has some legs. Let's see what Benbrode has to say about it, and see if we can come up with any other ideas from this video.
This card that you play is his Herald, and if you win its location, well then you'll give Galactus the boost of power. Every turn, yo, it's time to devour. Maybe you can move your
They gave it, let me go back here. They gave it a cost reduction here. What was that from? Oh, that was from the opponent's wave. Okay. Interesting. Oh, wave Taskmaster. I mean, I don't know what all of this other stuff is doing, to be totally honest, in this deck, but taskmastering your Galactus in a 7-turn game is pretty, honestly, it's probably on the pretty side. It's probably on the silly side, but it would be pretty, and I think it would be silly as well. I don't think that's what you're going to want to do with it. Honestly, most of these other things seem like a trap. Shuri into Galactus seems like a trap, though you could go Shuri into Red Skull in your Galactus location. Like, that could just be another way to go super over the top to make sure that your Herald is winning. Seems fine.
It's the boost of power. Every turn, yo, it's time to devour.
I did mention Invisible Woman first steps, right? It is weird that Galactus and Sue Storm can team up. I just watched the Fantastic Four First Steps movie, by the way, and it was a lot of fun. Definitely recommend it. Somebody else gonna rap about a new card here.
You speak of hunger, this card surged through the flame. She was pressed into service, and bro, your rhymes are quite lame. Galactus threatened Zenla, he had it on the brink. Silver Surfer for steps, she said you stinks. And a
Oh, I accidentally fast forwarded. Meant to
Zenla, he had it on the brink.
give it a little pause here. So, Silver Surfer First Steps. I think I have read this one before as well, but I don't quite remember it. End of turn, if you are winning this location with an on-reveal card, whoa, copy its text. Okay, so, I think this is not as busted as it seems. I think that this is actually a once per game ability. Because I think that it copies the text onto Silver Surfer. We'll find out in a moment, but that is my hunch. So first steps here, I think that it's a 3-cost card intentionally so that it can work with the other Silver Surfer, and it copies on reveals so it can work with the other Silver Surfer. That's all pretty exciting and potentially quite powerful, but I think it's not every turn re-trigger your Silver Surfer, because that would be busted, I think. I think what we are actually getting here is the copy its text ability overwrites the text that is native on Silver Surfer first steps here. So she will no longer have this end of turn ability. That would also mean that she is not synergistic with Sue Storm and needs to be... she could be comboed with Wong, though, for sure. And the other thing I was going to say, they just showed off Black Panther in the previous clip. I don't believe it would double the Black Panther. I believe it would double Silver Surfer's power, but we'll find out in a moment. Like I said, kind of reacting to all of this blind.
She said your hunger stinks. And a turn, she shines, you wait and catching this mimic. If I'm winning location, she just running.
So we saw her copy a Green Goblin there and then go over to the opponent's side. She did not send the Green Goblin over. She herself went over to the other side. Here we're going to see her get +4 power for triggering a Gamora.
She mirrors reveals, then she takes them up higher, copies the text, now you're stuck in this fire.
Now you're stuck in this fire. So you are not going to be able to continually re-trigger her ability.
She doubles finesse. I play Mirage Code, then leave you a mess. Kate trick.
Yeah, those are cards in Marvel Snap. I think that I just had something. Oh, that's what I was going to say. You probably don't want to play Okoye in your deck because you want to make sure that she's always hitting the most powerful on reveals that she can. And that is going to mean that you only want one on reveal at her location so that you always know what she's going to copy. There's some flexibility around that. I do think her best use is just going to be final turn, Silver Surfer, and double trigger it or potentially trigger that even more in a Wong location, though sometimes the Silver Surfer deck wins the 2 locations that you don't play Silver Surfer to, and it might be a bigger ask, or it just means that you play, so you have like a Brood Seabass location, and then you have a Human Torch something Silver Surfer location, and you're kind of a little bit more telegraphed, but you ignore one location completely so that you can activate her ability. That's definitely possible.
And then I double sight lock another Scorpion Sting while you stand and shout.
Bars.
Oh, Mark, that was a bust. Fudge should have cut you off like crust. I got a card that shines no rust. Let me tell you all about this card, Stardust.
So this one's brand new to me. Stardust 4/7 ongoing. Cards can't be added to locations except by playing or moving them. Okay, so this is going to stop White Tiger. It's going to stop Brood. And what is the most relevant thing that it stops? I don't believe that it stops Green Goblin. I don't think so, but it does stop Debris. I don't think it stops Green Goblin or Viper. We'll find out in just a moment. If it does, then... Well, here's the thing. A card like this, it does have an application already that I can think of, but... when cards like this are good, when tech cards like this are good, is when they can be used both reactively as tech against something in the metagame that you want to stop, but also proactively for what your deck's game plan is trying to do. And for that, I think that Stardust could potentially, they're both 4-cost cards, but it could be paired alongside Sentry. this would stop you from creating the Void with Sentry. I will say that a lot of the strategies with Sentry really want you to create the Void, and this almost feels like it is a better strategy against Sentry because of that purpose. But I think that's the kind of stuff that we were looking for. If we didn't already have the plethora of tools available to combo with Sentry, then this might be a thing. It would deal with like Arnim Zola, but that's not, you don't want to deal with Arnim Zola necessarily. It's not a huge share of the metagame. So what other things do they have in mind here for Stardust? Oh, and it looked, oh, Ben's falling apart here. This is a Series 5 card.
Cards can't be added unless you play or move them, but here is the test. Hella, no boy.
Actually,
annoyed, Zemo, unemployed.
I like the flow. Actually, I like the flow. I'm gonna redo this.
No rust. Let me tell you all about this card Stardust. Ongoing, cards can't be added unless you play or move them, but here is the test. Hella, no boys. Lockjaw, annoyed. Zemo, unemployed. Sentry, no void. Okay, Mark, it's your turn again. I know you're thinking.
So, anti-Hella card. That is what this card is trying to do. Missed that one. That is absolutely huge, and the entire purpose of this also shuts down Doctor Doom. But I believe that Stardust is here for people to say, okay, now there is a definitive answer to Hella. I still think in order for this to actually be relevant, we do also need to see a proactive thing for it to be used with, and we did in the final clip. The Void.
Play or move them, but here is the test. Hella, no boys. Lockjaw, annoyed. Zemo, unemployed. Sentry, no void. Okay.
Yeah, that is a combo here. I don't think that this combo is going to get there. I'm taking a look at the hand. Yeah, I mean, it's not good with Doom or Doom 2099. This is, yeah, Annihilus. I don't know how the goblins work. They didn't showcase that part. And I don't think that
hey, Mark,
is
it's your turn again.
the
I know you're
best
thinking, God, when will it end?
use.
But listen up and put your mind to it. I'm rooting for you. You can do it.
You praise stone cold killers, I bring solid fled truth. Frankie Raye stepped up, lit the cosmos in youth. Stardust,
Raye.
a ghost Nova, burns with finesse. She chose to be Herald.
Frankie Raye Nova, new character to me now, a 2/3. After the next time you play a 6-cost card, double this card's power. I love a doubler. And interestingly, I was looking through, so this is like a very specific use case to me, but I was looking through the trying to think of how this would work. Yeah, I don't think that would necessarily work. Sorry, I'm getting a little lost in the sauce here. When I put out last week a video for the evens versus odds community battle, I realized that there's no 2-cost, or there's no even cost cards that double. All of the cards that double is Human Torch, Black Panther, Human Torch, and Deadpool, right? I think those are the main doublers in the game, all odd cost cards. It's not a thing that you really have to care about for most game modes in Marvel Snap, but now if you're looking for an even cost doubler, that is something that could be interesting. And here is the main thing that I'm considering. Well, okay, I'll say this. My girl Sasquatch might have a home with this as a 6-cost card that without ramp you could play before turn 6. I think that might be an important thing that Frankie Raye Nova is looking for. Mockingbird, similar applications. And then if you have doubled this card once already with a Sasquatch on turn 5, for instance, then I do believe that on turn 6, this will be a 6-power card. I do believe you could Arnim Zola a 6-power Frankie Raye Nova and make it a 12-power card. I do believe that the timing with that works out, that if Frankie Raye Nova has already doubled, and Arnim Zola will make it double again. Because there'll be new ones, and they'll have their ability reset. You know what? It might not work because some cards don't have, like, an activate card doesn't have its activate reset on Arnim Zola, or does it? I don't know. You always play Arnim Zola on the final turn of the game, so I don't know about all of the intricacies, but the reason that I bring that up is Arnim Zola has Nico Minoru's the other doubler, and it's also an odd cost card. But Nico Minoru has a really interesting interaction with Arnim Zola when it is on the double mode and you Arnim Zola it sees the Arnim Zola get played after it is moved to the other two locations and triggered its on reveal. Then Arnim Zola is finished playing, and then the Nico Minoru's double again. So I could see some kind of weird Phoenix Force, Nico, Sasquatch, and then you play like Gwenpool, and you potentially play like Forge or other pumpers. Gwenpool's a little bit trickier, because if you play Gwenpool, you can't play Nova plus Sasquatch on turn 5. So it's almost kind of like a turn 6 deck. But I wonder what they will show us here for Frankie Raye.
At the my next 6 drop, watch the flames ignite. Power doubles up, yeah, we do this
there's
right.
Forge.
Galactus gave fire, now I torch through the scene, dropping bombs on...
There's my girl. All right, She-Hulk also potentially an option. All of the opponents here just playing Wave just to facilitate silly things happening. Though this could be a bot. There was like a Death Wave bot. But the bot doesn't exist, right? Maybe it does on the test servers still.
Verse like a cube stealing machine. Mockingbird drops cheap.
Wait, did this double twice? Or did they pump it up?
Ignite. Power doubles up, yeah, we do this right. Galactus gave fire.
So maybe they just pumped this up somehow with... Oh, they did. They pumped it up with Forge and the Penny Parker shield. I don't know how it got to 12 with that. But... because the Penny Parker Spider is 3 and Forge is 2, right? Well, either way, they got it up to 12. Maybe a Hulkbuster as well. That gets us to 11. Sure. But yeah, you could obviously throw some pumps on it. I did bring that up. Oh, and the Penny Parker, never mind. I was going to say Penny Parker ramps you, but it doesn't. They are just utilizing Limbo here.
Like a cube stealing machine. Mockingbird drops cheap. She-Hulk joins the strife. Sasquatch smashes in. Blob cuts like a knife. Thanos auto fuel. Agatha's got my back. Try to match his heat bend. Your whole deck is whack.
Yeah, so they mentioned She-Hulk as well. You got to skip an energy to play that on turn 5, but that's reasonable. And means you can't play Gwenpool, but Gwenpool already looks awkward on the curve. But yeah, Sasquatch and Mockingbird both are pretty viable and also play along well with Pump, because you want to play like Mysterio, and you want to play Mysterio with those other 2 cards. So that could all work together somewhat reasonably.
You ain't a doubt, but I'm the devil. My rhymes are too hot for you to handle. Like a scandal, you can't help but look. But you went too far. Ooh, you took a gamble. And now you're cooked.
Wow. He killed him. He got his ass. Uh-oh, Dexter's here.
Typical. That light was dim. Now it's Dexter in the ring. I don't miss on a whim. Snap legend rap manners. I don't need no 6 turns to win all your cues and serve 3rd degree burns. You face the original. Get ready to kneel. You challenge Galactus. You just play for feel. Tapped in the black matter. Bends reality. Falling 1 drops. Chip my max energy. On reveal. On.
Okay, good job. I think that might be something that Dexter does. I think that he might do some freestyle raps on his stream. It makes me think I should be rapping more and throwing my hat in the ring. But for now, we will just leave it to the card reviews. And we have the Fallen one next. A 5/5 that says, on reveal, set your max energy to this card's power. Oh, yes. I've seen this one. So this allows you to turn ramp into more ramp and pump into ramp as well. Because, yeah, there's a number of things that you can do with this. If you ramp this out, then you'll be... So if you ramp this out with Wave, or any like temporary ramp. Psylocke, Jennifer Kale, there's a lot of temporary ramp actually. You don't want to pair this with Electro. That would be bad. But you could pair this with almost any other energy gain. Like, I think it even works fine with Hope Summers because she's giving you temporary energy. If you play this on turn 4, then you've ramped yourself. The only thing, this is not a card to pair with like Arishem specifically. But the other thing that you can do with this is you can pump it up with any pump spells, Gwenpool, Forge, anything else. Oh, wow. Yeah. If you pair it with Mr. Fantastic First Steps, either way, if you hit this, it's ramp. You can either reduce the Fallen One's cost or you can increase its power. Either way, you are getting additional energy out of this one. And what do you do from there? Well, I guess the best thing to compare it to would be Wiccan. So, is this card getting more for you than Wiccan does? And is it easier to activate? And it could be. It could be that this also could go in. I mean, Gwenpool into this, I think, is like the simplest thing that you could possibly ask for, because Gwenpool's still already a card that you want to be running, and then this sets you up for the final turn with only a little bit of extra energy. If you Gwenpool hit it once, it's 2 extra energy on the final turn, but still 8 energy, 2 4-cost cards, you can do something with that. And potentially you also have the ability to ramp this out with a Mr. Fantastic First Steps, which if you get the discount on this, it's +1 energy by playing this card on turn 4 with the normal power, though getting +2 power on this from Mr. Fantastic First Steps is also pretty reasonable. And then you are basically looking at a Wiccan final turn, right? Wiccan gives +2 energy for those final 2 turns of the game. And typically you use the 5th turn to set up priority, so that way you can win the game with Juggernaut Cosmo, Eliath, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead in some combination. But I think that ramp is generally still good. I mean, this is a unique card to have a 5-cost ramp card. I don't think that we have any other 5-cost ramp cards in the game. The only other ones that come close are like Legion, if Project Pegasus is a location, or that might be it. Maybe you could argue like a Blink or a Cersei. Those can be 5-cost ramp cards because they allow you to cheat out other big things. But yeah, the Fallen One, well, you can't really blink it out. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, that doesn't give you anything. So the decks for this, I will say to some extent, the ramp decks for this don't really exist, right? Those would be brand new strategies. However, at the same time, the decks for the Fallen One already kind of do exist because it goes well into just the good stuff plus tech package that people want to be playing, because there are some really good cards right now that both make your cards cheaper and give them additional power while they're in your hand. So from that perspective, the Fallen One could kind of prove to be a Serra, though I will say this. That deck does kind of operate on trying to find a level of consistency, and the Fallen One is going to be a lot more swingy than a Serra specifically, than that direct comparison. That's not necessarily a bad thing. To have swingy cards in your Marvel Snap deck, Mr. Negative is a great Marvel Snap card because it is swingy. Pixie is a great Marvel Snap card because it's swingy. Pixie could allow you to play the Fallen One on turn 3, but that would obviously be incredibly random to try to play for that specific setup. Okay, yeah, I was just thinking, but Mr. Fantastic, or Mr. Negative, does not interact with this card in any way because it's a 5/5. And I don't know if the decks that would potentially play Serra are looking for an effect like this at all. Could they be looking for a second Serra? Potentially. Actually, yeah. Sometimes they could be. And I think that if you were doing that, there would be a little bit of a concession to a card like this. You might even consider playing Forge. You might play a turn 4 Forge or turn 4... it can't be like Nakia plus Forge, but just turn 4, play one of your 2-drops or one of your cards discounted by fantastic first steps, and then play Forge to set up for a 7-power Fallen one. And then on the final turn, you do have 8 energy, and that should be enough to weave in some appropriate tech. So, and then you just play some other payoff cards with the Forge and with the Gwenpool or whatever else that you have in the deck. I think that that could work, and you could play it in addition to Serra in a way that probably allows you to toss priority and play a lot of tech cards. I think that this card is fine to good and could certainly see some play.
God, my past limit's gone. His power rewrites rules you standing on. You capped, I rise, I bend what you know while you're stuck with...
Oh my goodness gracious. Putting it onto a symbiote Spider-Man was not on my bucket list. I don't think you need to be doing Limbo and all of this. We can see that this is a Serra. Sassy is getting some huge love in this video. Also, Shuri. Okay, I maybe wasn't thinking big enough. So Shuri and Symbiote Spider-Man could provide you with a lot of energy. Just a normal Symbiote Spider-Man for 7 power is going to give you 13 energy on the final turn of the game. It will be a 12 power Symbiote Spider-Man activation. Shuri into it will give you 11 energy on the final turn of the game. Where do you go from there? I'm not sure. What do you do with that much energy when your deck is made up of cards like Symbiote Spider-Man and the Fallen one? I'm not sure, but it does give you the flexibility. Like if you play the Symbiote Spider-Man into the Fallen one, and then you have 11 energy on the final turn. In this case, it's showing 16, but the... Oh, no, this isn't 11. 11 is with Shuri. Symbiote Spider-Man is 13 energy. So 13 energy... 9 of that could be used to play Shuri plus a big card, whether that's Sasquatch or something else. You could just Shuri a Serra at that point. Though, if you are leaning this hard into the Fallen one, I don't think it's a Serra deck at that point. I think there is some bigger combo that you're looking to do for 13 energy. You are potentially, at that point, like... Arnim Zoling your Sunspot on the final turn. I don't know quite about that, but that's possible if it's a Limbo game and you get 2 turns to grow a Sunspot really big, because Arnim Zola is going to cost you some of that energy as well. So, let's see what else Dexter has to say
6,
here.
I dropped 12 in the glove. Forge feeds a madness. Shuri double sin. Gwenpool cracks the code. Captain Carter dives in. Symbiote Spidey swing and bust like a freak. Ben, you've been outplayed by a cosmic antique.
So that's basically, all that we have to consider there. So, trying to think, I mean, if you can't come up with something to do for that much energy, I said 13 was one of the numbers, right? Yeah, so that could allow you to play 2 6-cost cards, but there's no time to play a Nick Fury. You'd have to play Nick Fury off of like a Psylocke or something, which is still possibly a card that could see an inclusion. And notably, you can also, pretty easily like Forge the Symbiote Spider-Man. One thing that I did want to bring up, once you're getting that deep into it, you are also then a little bit at the whims of your opponent again, because now you've presented a card that can get Shang-Chi'd. So... your mileage may vary with a strategy like that. You could try to, if you really want to go all in, just make an absolutely huge thing and then like Taskmaster and Arnim Zola it. But I don't know, that doesn't feel like it's the best use of your energy. And I feel like those strategies are going to be a little on the sillier side. Let's see what else we've got though.
And I fly in the sky. Look at this new card coming at you, bro. Burns, but try not to cry. Cosmic Ghost Rider, he's fire.
So I know we're going to get all of the Series 5 cards in this video. I don't know if we're going to see all of the new Series 4 cards as well, but I will potentially talk about those at the end of this video too. But Cosmic Ghost Rider, a 5/7, some expensive cards this season. On reveal, remove the text from front row enemy cards here. Okay, I've seen this one because it became a meme on the Marvel Snap subreddit last week. People just saying, how are front row cards supposed to exist anymore? And then everybody just like posting Shang-Chi and Enchantress and saying similar things. This is an interesting card when we have, I'm trying to think of like, what is typically in the front row? Well, it can be cards that specifically care about being in the front row. Like, well, I think that might only be Captain Carter, right? But also cheap things are going to be in the front row. Mr. Fantastic First Steps, Human Torch First Steps, I feel like is a front row card a lot of the times. And then there's also just something like if your opponent tries to front row a Gore, then this can take it out. This can also take out a Wong a decent percentage of the time. Or, yeah, Gore's a little trickier because you'd have to like predict where they're going to play the Gore on the final turn. But cheap stuff that has recurring value. Don't know what else that might actually be. Let's take a look at what they've got to say here. This is a tech card. Oh, okay. So that's the other thing to consider. It's a tech card. So, no, remove the text from front row enemy cards here. Yeah, I mean, that probably makes it more powerful, right? But I was thinking, oh, could you pair this alongside Martyr or Titania? No, you cannot.
He's got energy tires. Frank Castle never retires. He's back from the
Shuts down activate cards. That's a big thing.
grave and watch as your wife takes away from these cards as they get too close to the heat. Just like when you stand next to me, I remove your ability to speak. Doesn't matter what you bring to play.
None of those clips seem particularly exciting. At 5 cost, this is pretty expensive. It is, honestly though, filling similar space to a Lady Deathstrike. But Lady Deathstrike, like, that's a great example because the decks that she winds up being the best in, not always, but usually are like she always gets played alongside the Hood. So that way her ability that is a symmetrical one can be used as a downside for your opponent and an upside for you. And without that on the Cosmic Ghost Rider, it's a little trickier to get excited about it because it's really just a tech card. And, excuse me, yeah, I don't think it's delivering anything huge.
Yo, Dexter, what's your card say? Shh, take a look now.
Especially for
blank.
5. Wow. He got his ass.
You flex Series 5 like that makes you elite, but I'm dropping these 4s and still bringing the heat. You bring me hellfire, I bring structure and lore. My rhymes are fantastic, now check out these 4s. And Walker drops.
So these are the Series 4 cards coming this season. Airwalker is a 3/3. When this is destroyed, replace it with a 4-cost card from your hand or deck. Whoa. So you can immediately make this summon Phoenix Force always. You can have this. Wow. Now, why that's not great is you don't want really Phoenix Force to bring back this thing specifically. That kind of negates a lot of the utility from Phoenix Force. It could always hit Misery, but then you've just destroyed the location, and then Misery will re-trigger like your Carnage and destroy itself, so that's not good. Unless you specifically already have, what's the other card? The 2/3 that is like the Phoenix Force First Steps from the Ancient Season. That could maybe make for an interesting combo. What are some other crazy 4s? Are there good activates? Is Invisible Woman, is she a 4? I think so. I don't know if that's necessarily worth playing for. Fantastic Car, also a 4, of course. Excuse me. What 4s are they? I don't know. Are we going to get into details of all of these cards?
Tempo's gone. You break me, I rebuild like nothing went wrong.
Okay, so Doc Ock, Coal Obsidian, not particularly exciting ones. Are there other 4-cost cards that destroy? There's a Tuma. That is not seeming like a spectacular combo because Atuma would then just destroy the Carnage. You could throw a Symbiote Spider-Man into that location and then use the Symbiote Spider-Man to re-trigger the Destroy card to then Arnim Zola. That's really all I've got. Okay, let's see what else. I don't know what this card is yet.
Firelord's lit.
Here's the next one. Firelord. On reveal, here's a 4-cost card. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's a combo. Cool. Firelord, on reveal, revive one of your discarded or destroyed 3-cost cards here. So what are discarded 3-cost cards? I don't think we really discard any 3-cost cards yet. No. And I can't imagine that there's a 3-cost card that gets discarded for value that we really care about either. But Firelord can... Well, here's the thing. This says replace it. Okay, so it doesn't say transform it. It says replace it. So I think that if Airwalker is destroyed and it brings out a Firelord, that would bring back the Airwalker. And then you could, maybe do it again. Maybe. But then you'd need to put another 4-cost card in your deck. So I guess actually Firelord's just kind of a free roll. If you want to put it might not be, because then you'd need another destroy effect to re-trigger it. So you might not want to commit to putting Firelord in your deck, but it's a cool combo that basically makes it so that whenever this card is destroyed, you just get 9 power back at the location, which is pretty good. Yeah, just like killing Airwalker with a Carnage, you have a 4 power Carnage, and then you have 9 power with Airwalker and Firelord showing up out of nowhere. That's a pretty neat combo, actually. I like that. And you will have... So this is, I think, a pretty interesting aspect of this season. I think I'm right on this. My math might have been off, but I think there will be one day in the next season when the Grand Arena is still active. If I'm wrong, ignore me. But it could be fun to throw both of these cards into the Carnage Grand Arena deck. And also, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of the point. Like Galactus is supposed to show up to the Grand Arena on the final day and potentially destroy some
Bring
stuff.
back what you killed, now I've doubled the pain. Redshift spins hand.
Oh. This is an on reveal that brings back a 3-cost card. And then Silver Surfer First Steps is a 3-cost card that could re-trigger this on reveal. That's pretty cool.
Bring back what you killed, now I've doubled the pain. Redshift spins.
Red Shift. 2/3. Okay. On reveal, discard the leftmost card in your hand. That's going to be the card that you start with. That is going to be your Agatha. Oh, okay. Turn 2, drop your Agatha out of there. That could be good. Turn 1, Black Knight. Turn 2, discard Agatha. Wow. That's really good. Yes. Yeah, that's good. What else does it discard? What else starts in your hand? It could discard the Dormammu spell. That's terrible. But it would give you still a free card because the Dormammu spell starts in your opening hand. This does not work on turn 1 of the Grand Arena. because your champion cannot be discarded. And is there anything else that starts at that point in your hand now? I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think anything else starts at the leftmost point in your hand, but this is just a turn 2, always discard Agatha. That seems pretty good.
Hands, yeah, throw and replace. What you discard is leftmost foot that draws in your face. Terrax lands loud, dropping.
Then here's the final one, Terrax the Tamer. We don't have the stats on this. Looks like it could be a 3/3.
What you discard is leftmost foot that draws in your face.
We'll let this play out.
Loud, dropping rocks in your pride. You're losing low.
No, sometimes they just forget to throw in all of the assets in these videos. But sure. I don't know if I can find this on the Discord. All right, I have Terrax as a 3/3, and it could add anywhere from 0 to 3 rocks into either your deck or your opponent's deck. It could also just add 0 rocks across the board because locations that tie, nobody's losing those. And has kind of a tricky downside in that, yeah, you might be getting rocked yourself. It's obviously a Darkhawk setup card and could potentially allow for some various different Darkhawk strategies that we haven't seen with a little bit more junk added to the mix. Though those aren't necessarily decks that battle for priority. And I like this kind of, Sanctum Showdown-esque aspect added to the game where who's winning a location matters for a variety of different reasons before the final turns. I just think that makes the game a lot more exciting in a lot of ways. I don't know that Terrax is going to hit. I feel like turn 1 playing a Korg, turn 2, like maybe you wind up playing a Silk just so that Terrax can do its thing, or you play some other good 2-cost card that isn't Maximus, and then you try to give your opponent as many rocks as possible. I mean, it could certainly work. Your opponent would see the Korg and potentially already think to play around Terrax. I don't think this is a card that you wouldn't put in your Darkhawk deck, other than the fact that it's only adding 3 power for 3 energy. Like I said, I thought this card could have potentially costed 2, but because it's not even a great ability. I guess that's the thing. If it costs 2, then you are never winning 3 locations when you play it. So you probably want to play this card on turn 3 anyways, so that way you could potentially battle for each location on turns 1, 2, and 3. Doesn't seem that good though, because it only puts 3 power on the board. So probably not something I'm gonna urge people to pick up.
Now you're losing your mind.
Do I need to respond? I don't think I do. From a 1 to 10, you a -2. I snap, you pop and crackle. I farm and you cat. I'm in this battle. Where's your hero? Any destination, any location. This domination as a demonstration at Zenlock you would get.
2 new locations. That makes sense. I was wondering what we were building up towards here. Add a 3-cost card from your deck here. Ooh, okay. A nice little Silver Surfer destination. And then the 7th Cosmos replaces all locations, including probably the 7th Cosmos. So this, I imagine, will be a fairly rare location just because it's going to add a lot of chaos to the game. Though you could also potentially just find the 7th Cosmos on turn 1, and then it's going to feel kind of like a normal Marvel Snap game. But this will be interesting to see a location like this as a hot featured location when it comes out. Zenla at a 3-cost card from your deck here seems really, really good for Silver Surfer strategies. And I will say this, Now, like before, it would be kind of a bummer. So there's two ways you can take it. You can play a limited number of 3-cost cards, so that way you always hit the good ones that you want. And this will be a location towards the beginning of the season, so I will probably not be infinite yet when this location is hot and featured. So I will probably cook up something spicy and play a bunch with it. That seems like a lot of fun to me. But I'm just thinking like the other option you can do is fill your deck with a bunch of 3-cost cards, and now even if you hit the Silver Surfer onto Zenla, then you could always back that up later with a Silver Surfer first steps to re-trigger your Silver Surfer Prime.
And I crush you even at the 7 cosmos. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. Don't need paper or pen to burn again and again. Like a wet sock, you only herald defeat.
I think we've basically covered everything. They're just going to maybe talk about what the bonus modes are. Limited time game modes. What else do we got here? Okay, we're going to see some from the artists here. I'll probably skip ahead.
I'll just take a look at these variants by my friends at Pandar Studios. I think this is over.
All right, let's jump ahead. If you want to watch the whole thing, check out the video on the official Marvel Snap YouTube channel.
You should know high voltage is bad.
Yep.
And yo, it's super fast. Energy stack. Refuel.
So this is, I believe, just normal high voltage mode.
Gas rewards to be a mass.
And you can get Airwalker from it. Okay, yep, that's correct. Airwalker comes from high voltage
No
mode.
easy task, but you got the will to adapt. And that's it with second dinner. And from all of us, we hope you love the season, yo. Heralds of Galactus, don't be a dumb.
Does the Herald change the location? I believe the location, I believe that Galactus looks at the Herald, not the location that you play the Herald to. So I just thought about this with Aunt May's here.
It was second dinner, and from all of us, we hope you love the season, yo. Heralds of Galactus, don't be a dummy, though. Comment on this video, see you next. From all of you got.
So I don't know if we can tell what the Herald is, but I see some purple stuff here. So maybe one of these two is the Herald. That seems reasonable. And it looks like the Sunspot was played into Aunt May's, the Zorn, the Starbrand. I don't know. No, it's tough to figure out exactly what the curve was here, to be honest. But I want to reread Galactus and just say, I wanted Galactus on the screen here. My Herald is the next character I see you play. So +2 power if you're winning my Herald's location. I believe that you could have a moving Herald. You could have Jeff the Baby Land Shark or Rocket and Groot as your Herald and really punish your opponent for playing to that location. But then if they do, you can take all of that power, move it to another location, and that could be really tricky for your opponent. I also think that similar to the champion designation that we see in, okay, sorry. I got something else coming in a second, but the champion, if that champion is like destroyed by like Arnim Zola, just because I keep mentioning that card, or Frigga to get an additional copy of it or whatever, then you will no longer, in the case of Arnim Zola, you will no longer have the original Herald. The original Herald is gone. It is just a characteristic of that first card that was played. Now, Frigga would just give you an additional copy of the card that the Herald is, but that copied card would not actually be the Herald. And again, all of this is purely speculative, but I think your Herald could be Green Goblin, and you could send that to your opponent's side, and then it would still be your Herald at that location. Green Goblin would remain your Herald on your opponent's side of the board, and I'm basing that purely off of like my Viper Carnage deck in the Grand Arena, where you can send your champion to your opponent's side and then move it around and do some funky stuff. So I think that that is how the Herald is going to work. Don't have a definitive answer on that, but Yeah, that's cool. And I think that that's all that we're getting in the video. We are also getting some new snap packs next season. I don't have the exact contents of those just yet. Those might be available on like data mined websites. And if they are, maybe I'll do a video about those in the future. I didn't actually do a season breakdown last video, and there's some different interesting thoughts I have on that. I think I'm going to talk more about a lot of things in a big video tomorrow that's just kind of going to be like a discussion on the state of Marvel Snap. But I'm still kind of figuring out, and I'll talk more about this in my first video of the season as well, where I just kind of reflect on my content over the past month or so. There is a kind of tricky thing at the end of the season gearing up for the next one in terms of what I want to review. I do think I should probably just start to review something different because like every content creator is covering this. I do potentially bring some interesting tidbits, and I think that's why some people watch me, because they like some of the ways that I discuss some things in ways that they might not have thought about. But I do wonder if I could have a better value add in bringing discussions to some other things, or maybe the answer is I need to start making more videos and streamline the process so I can get these out ahead of time. But for today, for the Heralds of Galactus season, that is going to be it for me. Like I said, big videos should be coming, honestly, like the next 2 days. I should have a big video both of those days, so I'm going to get to work. For now, that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace. To enter into my giveaway, there are 3 things that you need to do. The first is subscribe to this YouTube channel. The second is leave a comment on any of my videos. This season, every comment will give you an additional entry into the giveaway. Limit 1 per video, but you can comment on all of the videos that I upload throughout this season. And the third thing that you have to do is join my Discord. And the reason that I need you to do that is so that way I can contact you if you win, because YouTube comments, you don't always get the notifications for things like that. So join my Discord, leave a comment on all of my videos, and subscribe for more Sweet Marvel Snap.